Award-winning journalist, he is the New York Times bureau chief for Variety. He is formerly a senior writer for Newsweek and has also written for the Wall Street Journal, Los Angeles Times, U.S. News and World Report, and amongst others. Joining me to talk about his book, Ladies Who Punch. What a title. An instant New York Times bestseller. I'm thrilled to welcome to my show, Ramin Setoodeh.
Thank you very much for having me, Wendy.
Oh, so the explosive story inside, just the reviews alone. This book is hot, Andy Cohen. This book is very juicy, page 6. An exciting read that proves there's always a little soap opera, even if the show doesn't present itself as hard news. Associated Press. Great reviews, instant New York Times bestseller. What made you want to write the book?
Thank you very much. So I've been a journalist for 15 years, and the one topic that always generates the most interest, really, truly, is stories about The View. The public wants to know what's going on the show. And I've interviewed many of the co-hosts over the years, and I spent 3 years working on this book. I interviewed more than 150 people for it, including 11 of the co-hosts of the show, everyone from Barbara Walters to Rosie O'Donnell, Star Jones, Meredith Vieira, Jenny McCarthy, and more.
Were they okay? So The View, if everyone doesn't know, has been on the air for 22 years. So were they instantly, like when you went to Barbara Walters, when you went to Star Jones, et cetera, did they say yes right away?
Oh, no, not at all. That's why it took me 3 years to write the book. It was a long process of writing letters and emails and, convincing them that it was important for them to tell their side of the story. And Barbara was really one of the first people to come on board and agreed to do the book, told me, in 1997 when she created The View, it was such a groundbreaking show. People weren't giving their opinions on TV. Anchors weren't allowed to, tweet or go on Instagram and tell you what they thought. So when she created the show, she was actually discouraged from doing it. And a lot of network executives thought it would hurt her reputation. But Barbara was ahead of her time, and she really sort of changed and shaped our culture by creating the show.
I have to say I miss watching her. I miss seeing her on TV.
I do too. I wonder how she would sort of react to the headlines all the time, because so much is happening in the news, and I wonder how she would navigate it.
I know. Okay, so I think with her, finally, well, listen, if you're going to write a book about me, I'd rather tell my story. So at least we know that you have that part right? So I think it was smart of them. I'm sure nobody wants a book written about them because they feel like, oh my God, but at least they're going to be able to have their story told.
Right, and I think it's important. I mean, when you hear from Star Jones, a lot of what she says makes sense, and she explains what she was thinking during her wedding in 2004, and she explains why she decided not to talk about her gastric bypass surgery on the show, which ended up becoming a big deal. She talks about getting fired and deciding to sort of ambush her co-hosts and quit on live TV. So hearing from them, I think you're right. It makes them more relatable, and you get to tell your side of the story.
Oh, my God. And also, so many of the co-hosts have had a hard time fitting in. They'd suffered humiliation at the table, then pushed themselves away, felt betrayed. Like, you talk about all that throughout the book. And I think people wonder, right? People wonder about all this.
It's not an easy club to join. It's not an easy show to do. You're vulnerable every day. You have to go on and you have to express personal things about your life. Like Lisa Ling told me she wasn't very comfortable doing that. She had come up in news and didn't really want to talk about her dating or her boyfriend or problems she was having with her boyfriend. And then you also have to be very political, which a lot of the co-hosts aren't necessarily comfortable doing. Jenny McCarthy went on the show thinking she was going to only talk about pop culture, and then they wanted her to wade into all the politics. And she wasn't really, she'd never come out as a Republican or a Democrat. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to say. And Barbara was really tough on her.
Yeah, she was really tough on her. Why do you think people are so obsessed with The View?
I think it's because it touches on a lot of important sections of our society. It's women in Hollywood, it's red states versus blue states, and it's really the only place on daytime TV that addresses politics.
True.
And it's done it from the very beginning.
True, very true. All right, let's talk about one of the big-time explosive things that happened on The View. Amongst many, Elizabeth Hasselbeck. When her and Barbara Walters.
There's a lot of big moments. But one of the things I uncovered in reporting this book was that in 2006, one of the things I uncovered in reporting this book was that in 2006, Elizabeth Hasselbeck got into a fight that was so heated on the show that she quit in a commercial break.
Yeah.
She was ready to leave, and she didn't want to come back. And she was so mad at Barbara Walters, and the executive producer had to go and get her in a 3-minute commercial break and convince her to come back on TV.
Oh my God! And there was a clip. When I was researching you, there was a clip that I saw about that, and I was like remembering back to that moment between her and Barbara Walters, and that was like it made me uncomfortable.
It's a really uncomfortable moment. We published the clip online. If you want to go on YouTube, you can look it up and you can see it for yourself. But I take you behind the scenes, and you can see what's happening during that insane commercial break where Elizabeth's done with the show and is mad at Barbara and is ready to end her career right then and there.
Oh my God. I saw that clip and I was like, take me back that moment. Oh gosh, the poor thing. So who was the hardest to nail down?
I think Rosie was very difficult to get to agree to do the book. She wasn't sure if she wanted to revisit the show. She had both her times on the show were very contentious, and she felt like she couldn't make it work the second time she came on the show. When Barbara retired, Rosie returned to The View, and she and Whoopi had a very difficult relationship on the show.
Yeah. They really did. If you just tuned in, I'm talking to Ramin Setoodeh. His book, Ladies Who Punch, The Explosive Inside Story of The View. Let's talk about the cover for a minute of that book.
Sure.
How was your feedback? Barbara, Rosie, and Whoopi, how did they feel about that, and what is the feedback about that?
So the cover is the three, I think, the biggest co-hosts of The View, Barbara, Rosie, and Whoopi. And I heard that Whoopi was actually very upset that she was on the cover with Rosie. So the drama that happened on the show between the two of them was so real that she never really wanted you to ever see her with Rosie again.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Was there anything that you were, probably a lot, but was there anything you were hesitant about including in the book?
I wanted to make sure that everything in the book was accurate. So everything in the book has been vetted, it's been fact-checked, it's been run against multiple sources, and I think as a result, it's a very fair book. You hear from everyone. You hear from Star talking about how she was upset that Debbie didn't do things a certain way. You hear from Debbie Matenopoulos talking about how she felt betrayed by Star when she was fired. You hear from Sherry Shepherd talking about how when they originally offered her a salary on the show, it was too low and she had to negotiate for more. And Rosie O'Donnell helped her negotiate for more by telling her what the other co-hosts made. You really hear from everyone, and I think that's why the book works so well.
I think the book works really well. Rosie O'Donnell, her interview filled a lot of the pages. Strong opinion.
She was a very important part of the show. Even though she was only on it for a year and a half, she changed the dynamic of the show, and she sort of made it into the political show that it is today.
She really did. I think people don't give enough credit to that. And I mean, she has strong opinions. She has a lot to say. Your conversations with her, how were they?
She's a very raw and honest interview. And I think one of the reasons why she was initially reluctant to do the book was that she knew that she wouldn't be able to not tell me the truth. At one point, she compared herself to Steve Bannon in Fire and Fury. And, she was like, I'm going to tell you too much and then I'm going to regret it and, get myself in trouble.
Oh, boy.
But the book is also a celebration of her and all that she's done on daytime TV. I remember growing up watching her on the Rosie O'Donnell show, which changed daytime TV forever and showed that you can have celebrities on daytime and you can make that work. And what she did on The View was very important and influential to the show, but she also made life very difficult for everyone because she was so exacting and had a very clear sense of what she wanted from all the producers.
I think a big thing about the book is, and people will, when they read the book, will get this, that the show has tension. The fight is real. Everything you see on the show is real. It's not premeditated. It's what happens is right there.
Right, and they can't make it up. Like there were seasons where they tried to get some of the co-hosts to argue one thing or believe one thing, and those seasons didn't work. It's actually true passion that makes the show work.
So it seems, when Barbara Walters first left, I think the show struggled a lot. But I think it's found its place. Do you feel like that?
I agree with that. I think it struggled a lot when Barbara Walters left because no one knew what direction it should go. and no one really knew what this show should be. Should it be political? Should it not be political? They were trying to make it a little more like Good Morning America, which totally didn't work. And I think it's really sort of settled now, and I think the reason it works now is that there's a lot of news coming out of the White House. It's a place where you can go to see the co-hosts react to the news. And you have the liberal Joy Behar and the conservative Meghan McCain, and everyone expresses their own points of view, and it is very compelling to watch the show again.
I totally agree. What's the message that you want people to take away from the book?
I think that what I really have been excited about people when they read the book is that it's a gripping, fun page-turner, and it really takes you behind the scenes of this iconic TV show. And that's really what I set out to do. I wanted it to be a truthful portrait of what happened behind the scenes of The View, and a lot of people have been responding to that.
Yeah, I think there was something that I read that said it's like, the show treats politics like a soap opera and that blurs the lines of journalism and opinion. Nobody wants facts. O'Donnell used to like to say that, right? Everybody wants feelings. And I think us as women, mostly, that sit there and watch it, we like that because it is very raw and it's very real. And I think that one of the things I really took away from it, and I was a television producer, so I know what happens behind the scenes, is that this is real. So everything that you see on there is really real. And I think that also draws people to the show.
Right. It was in a lot of ways the first reality TV show because you would come in and you would watch these women debate and talk about their lives, but they really were opening up how they felt. And then there was really no going back once you got to know them and once you got to see how they really felt about big issues.
So are you so pleased with the outcome and what everyone said about the book? Because it's really, instant New York Times bestseller.
I am. I'm really happy and proud, and I grew up watching the show with my mom, so it was really exciting to me that my mom likes the book, and
so cute.
And so many moms out there, have really responded and loved the book, so that's meant a lot to me.
Oh, well, I enjoyed reading the book, too, and everyone out there, Ladies Who Punch, the explosive inside story of The View. Ramin Setoodeh, what a wonderful job you did writing it, and 3 years worth of, listen, you got them all. You got the big, there's so many good stories there. Let's just talk about the people that you interviewed. Pretty amazing that you got that. So that says a lot about you.
Thank you very much.
So thanks so much. Enjoy it. Everyone go out and get the book, Ladies Who Punch. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.